everybody, and welcome back. This is Terry at Sweet Pea Papers and the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and also the Junk Journal Tutorials and Videos, Junk Journal Tutorial Videos and Projects Facebook group. Sorry about that. And there's links below to the two Facebook groups, and you should go check them out. We have a lot of fun there, and you can post your Etsy shops on Thursday, YouTube channels on Tuesday, and get yourself some new visitors and maybe some sales. Okay, so this is video 1 in our Books and Butterflies series. Now, this is just a gorgeous kit. I'm not really sure what we're going to do with it yet. I say that at the beginning of every video, don't I? Anyway, so these are some of the papers. I'm not going to go through every single one. This is one of the backing papers, and it was the lightest one that didn't have a pattern that we could write on. So guess what? I printed it on the back of all the pages, except for the ones that are in the ephemera that are envelopes, because the insides of the envelopes are, I wanted to be a different pattern. And so these are US sized, and I printed them fit to page but not borderless, because I wanted to have that little bit of a border once we trimmed this border off. So there's beautiful images of books and butterflies, no flowers that I could find anyway. Watch the next page, I'll have flowers on it. And so that's why I think, even though it's winter time, I think this is an okay project to do. We're going to always use butterflies in our life. There's our writing paper, or our main empty writing paper. So there's 24 journal pages. And this is gorgeous. Here's the other writing papers. And the other border color. There's 2 border colors. This color and this color. I haven't decided what ink we're going to use. I'd really like to use a color. This almost screams salvaged patina. But we'll see, that might be too bright. There is a lot of brown. I don't know. I don't think I want to bring out the brown, though. I'm not sure. I'd love it if I had a rose color like this. That would be great. And if you'll notice, this one, the border only goes this far, and then the butterflies come out, so there's a flat border on this side, and kind of what looks like a torn page on this side, which I'm not really sure why they did that, but this one has the border all the way around. It's a little odd, isn't it? Let's go back and look at this one. Oh, that's correct. Okay, so there's 24 pages. Or journal pages. There's 20 of these. Look at this one. It's so big. I wish we could, we'll have to treat it as a collage page. Some of these we'll have to cut up. Like this will have to be cut this way. And maybe this way. And then these 2. And used as cards. These are definitely going to be probably cards. Definitely, probably. But I love these pages. I'm going to try to maybe print them at 90% and see what we get. They're gorgeous. I'm not going to go through every one. I'll just go through every couple. Here's our backing paper. This is going to be the same on both sides. Now the back side, the backing paper, I printed borderless, because my printer prints a little bit bigger border on one side than it does on the other, and I have no idea why. But if I don't print the back borderless, then this big border on the back is on this side. And then when you go to trim it, you end up trimming off some of the paper. So I print my backing paper borderless. Look at that one. And then the books and the butterflies. And this spells out books. This might end up being our inside book cover. I don't know. I'd really like to do a Lapbook. We haven't done one of those in a little while. But I'm not sure how we would cut the pages up to fit that type of a format. We've done it before. Maybe I'll pull out my other one and take a look at it and see. Now the ephemera. This is just gorgeous. And it's got the cream colored border around it. If you have a scan and cut, it may pick that up. It may just go to the dark. It just depends. But if you're hand cutting, it makes it a lot easier. Unless you don't like the cream colored border, which you can always ink. And you can cut it out. Now these little envelopes, I think I'm going to treat them as if they were little books. And maybe we'll do something with them that way. Now this one, I did print the same one on the inside of that one. Oh, I printed a background on some and not the other. These I didn't because they're going to be glued to the page. So I didn't print them on the back of them. Oh, look, a plate for the front. Nice. And some pockets and some more envelopes. So I printed on the different one on that. These are the little file folders. So I printed the different pattern on that. Same here. Which means you can't write on the back of these two little cards, but is there a little card on this one? There is. There's two little cards here. So we'll have enough cards to put in the, no we won't. We got 5 folders and 4 cards. There's some more pockets. So anyway, I printed on the back of these because even though the pocket's going to be glued to the page and these are going to be glued to the page, these are tags. So in order to be able to write on the tags, I had to print that lighter color on everything instead of not printing on it at all. So anyway, this is some of the beautiful pages we'll have to work with. Here's some words. They're a little big, but whenever I print them out small, they're too small. So that's that. So let me trim everything down and cut out the ephemera on the scan and cut. And, oops, I got some plastic there. I was opening some stuff from Temu. And then I'll come back and we'll get started. We'll start laying out our project and see how much we can get done in video 1 since I blathered on here. Alright, I'll see you back in just 1 second. And we're back. We're back. So I've decided to make a Lapbook. And for that, you're going to need a cover. And we usually make the cover first on the Lapbook. I don't know why, but we do. And so what we're going to need for these size pages, let me get one of these. For these size pages, and remember we're going to put them on 8.5 by 11s, so it doesn't even matter. We're going to need half of 8.5. Half of 11 is 5.5. We need 1/8 of an inch on either side, so that makes it 5 3/4. Okay, so we're going to need 2 of those for our big regular book covers, okay, that look like a book. Then for the inside covers that go in, that make it a lap book, so that you have open it up and then it opens up again, they can't be 5 3/4 or they would bump into the, okay, so if you have, this is, let's say this is one of your sides. Then you have this spine. Then if this were the same size, if this piece on this side were the same size, it would bump into this spine. You wouldn't be able to close it. I've made that mistake. You don't want to make that mistake. So you're going to need 2 pieces, which is really 4 pieces of cardboard. Cereal box I'm using 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. Same principle, adding a quarter, by 5 1/2 by 8 3/4. I don't know why I wrote that backwards, but it's 5 1/2, and that gives us a 1/4 inch leeway by 8 3/4. All right, you don't want it to swing too much. You're going to fill it up, but you don't want the inside to be super short. When you look at it from the top and it looks like a box, the middle part you don't want to be that far away most of the time. There may be a reason that you do it that way, but for a standard lap book, then you don't. We're going to need 4. We're going to do the cover in cream colored papers, 8 1/2 by 11. I'm using 65 pound. Let me make room here because you need a lot of room to do this. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to glue all the pieces together, which I could have done some of these ahead of time, but you want to glue the 2 shiny sides together so that you have the blank sides on the outside. Good thing I got more glue. Need a lot of glue to do a lap book. Book covers in general are kind of glue hogs. So this Books and Butterflies kit is really pretty. I'm going to hate cutting the pages down, but there's a lot of pages that just have pictures on the side or the bottom. So that'll make our sacrifice easier. Normally I don't even do that in the middle, but why not? You don't have to clip these or anything, they glue right together. You do have to check and make sure they stick together on the edges, so I take that back. There have been some where the cardboard is on the cereal box has been a little bent. So make sure to write your sizes. These are very similar in size. So make sure to write your sizes on there so when you're laying your book out on the cover, that you don't get the wrong size in the wrong place. Okay? If there was a big difference, then that would be something different. And we'll talk about the spines here in a minute. Now look what I just almost did. I can't believe I wrote the measurements backwards on there. It still bugs me. Width and then the height. Not the height and then the width. Oh. I think the little bee is very cute. As long as you have glue right up to the edge, which swirling it around like this, when you push them together, it smushes out. Usually works fine, but It looks like I cut this one off by just a little bit, right where that little lip is. I don't think it's enough to make a difference. There. So when you're making one of these, you almost have to get a little assembly line going, because the covers all go in a line. And so you might as well just kind of make them in a line. Your two smaller ones are going to go on the outside edges, covers, and the two larger ones will go in the center, and then the largest spine will go in the very center. So we're going to have a 2-inch spine. That'll be our main spine. What do we do here? And then we will have two 1.5-inch spines. Now see here, you see how those don't want to stay together? It's just because of the way the board is curved. Yes, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Let's see if we can get that to do it without any clips. It shouldn't take that long to dry. Or at least get to where it grips. The vacuum, which you don't need. It looks like it's going to be alright, but one of these was curved like this, and so just the glue on cardboard is not enough to hold it together, I guess. So occasionally you do have to kind of clip them together. Wonder where you go when you scan the Q code on that. You can make custom ones and you can put your own letter and whatever in there. I have a friend that has a link. She knows where to go to make those. I don't remember. You could look it up on the old Google machine. So we're going to glue this last one together, and then we're going to glue the spines together, the two pieces of cardboard to make our spines, or each piece of our spine. Yeah, see, you can see the crease right there. We're going to have to clip this one too, it looks like. These are for knitting, I think, or quilting clips. Okay. So now let's do the same with the pieces for the spine. Or the spines. We're going to have 3. And in case you're wondering, yes, my books are sturdy. Haven't had any problems with any of my books coming apart. Some of them are a couple years old. In case some of you were going, she's not putting enough glue. Might be because I use Fabri-Tac. Or it could be that I'm lucky. You never know. So this is our 1.5 inch spine, one of them. This is our other 1.5 inch spine. Ooh, blueberry. These are from my Special K with red berries. Now, if you haven't had the, I know they're dehydrated strawberries, you don't have to tell me. Once you put them in the milk, they taste just like fresh strawberries. And then I put dried cranberries in. You know, they look like raisins, only they're cranberries. Holy moly, Batman. It is so very good. Even my dog likes the cranberries. I was putting them in the bowl and one fell on the floor one day. Now he begs for them. I'll give him 2. He gets 2 a day. That's probably why he begs for them. But he just liked them so much. It's not really supposed to give your pets fruit. But I think 2 dried cranberries a day is alright. If somebody knows of a reason that it's not, please tell me now. So we're going to end up with 4 sections to do. We'll probably do 3 sections that are like your flip-flop, your normal Lapbook sections. Then I was thinking one section, and instead of putting the big pocket that opens up, I was thinking we could put some pockets across, and we've got some ephemera that's a whole bunch of little envelopes, and I thought, you know, those kind of look like little books when they're folded up. And I thought maybe we could make it look like a few little bookshelves, like maybe 3. across the end of one. Depends on how much we need to fill up. If we need to fill it up more so that the covers fold the right way or lay the right way, then we won't be able to do that because that won't give us any thickness. But I think it's a cute idea. You open up the cover and have your own little library. Your own little library. Okay, so now while these are drying, and this is going to end up being really long, I'm going to have to slide it back and forth, and I'm going to try to keep the pertinent part on the, this is the ephemera. I wasn't able to cut this up in the Scan and Cut because the mat's not sticky. It doesn't matter anyway. And there's the rest there. All these little envelopes are going to go together. Paper clip them together. The glue's drying. Paper clip them together and put them in there, and then there's two bigger pockets. I'm going to put that up there out of the way. Okay, now to calculate how many pieces of paper we need to glue together, we're going to have 5 3/4, 5 3/4, 5 1/2, and 5 1/2. Okay, so we get 5 1/2 and 5 1/2 is 11. 5 1/2, 5 1/2 is 11, and then another half. It's going to have 22 1/2. So you're going to need 3. Is that right? 3? I thought you needed 4. Oh, you got to add in the spines. When you add in the spines, then you need 4 pieces of paper. Can't forget them. So we're going to take 4 pieces of paper and glue them together with a thin overlap. We're going to do it portrait way, portrait orientation. Like I said, normally I do this and then I tell you what I did, but I thought, well, it's been a while since we've done one on camera. So let's just do one. I wonder if I'm going to have to move my coffee. Oh no. I think I'm going to put book corners on this one. I think that's a little thick on the glue. That song from the, what, 80s, 70s, Signs. Keeps going through my head. If you have a little bit of glue that sticks out with Fabri-Tac, you can just kind of rub it and it rolls up into like a little rubber ball. You can flick it off onto the floor where it sticks to your carpet. The wheel of your stool rolls over it and makes a little black spot on the carpet. Don't ask me how I know that. We'll do the last one. Probably should have drawn a line an inch up. That's terrible. What kind of glue job is that? Probably should have drawn the 1-inch lines on there before I put it all together. It's important that you get these straight. A new part of that was going to stick out because I had done such a bad job putting the glue line on there. But I also knew it wasn't going to be very thick because I didn't do a very good job of that either. You may ask, why do you just keep flicking it off onto the floor if you know what's going to happen? And to that I say, it is much too late to matter. And my carpet is 13 years old. When they redo this apartment, and it's only a small area, but when they redo this apartment, they're going to put in hardwood floors because they will remodel this apartment. If they ever get it back, I may just live here forever. I would like to. The rent has gotten outrageous. Okay, now, I draw a 1-inch line across the bottom. It helps me get it straight, the book cover straight. Doesn't matter across the top, you're going to get what you're going to get. Nope, drew it too far over. By the time you get to here, you can just use the line you've got, and you can use your Tim Holtz ruler. Make sure it's straight. Because you can see through. My Tim Holtz ruler's gotten a little wiggly on the thin side here. Can't believe I have to buy another $8 ruler when this one's perfectly good except for drawing lines. It's nice that it has a thin edge and a thicker edge, but the thin edge should not chip so easily. Design flaw. Okay, now we're going to go down here. We're going to go an inch in. Just on this end. And that gives us a corner to start at. Some people start by putting the biggest spine in the center, which that would work too, I guess. Try not to gesture with your pencil in your hand. Right. So now we're going to take our pieces of cardboard and glue them on. So 5 3/4, 5 3/4, 5 1/2, 5 1/2, 2, 1 1/2, and 1 1/2. And then we'll have some extra to cut off on the end. Okay? I know that you can't see the whole thing, but it looks like this. And we're just going to start gluing them on. In fact, I'm going to glue it on backwards like this so I can see the writing. We're going to put this in the corner, line it up with the side, line the bottom up with the bottom line. Voila, you have a square base to start from. I got some new rings, in case you guys are wondering. This one's new. It's got turquoise and gold. Not gold, but actually green and blue turquoise. This blue turquoise. This is 2 rings. This is 3 rings. I just got this little tiny sliver of one yesterday. Got them from Temu. They're not expensive ones. These are turquoise though. They're not fake. I got one that I thought was going to be red turquoise. But when I got it, it was obviously fake. So it's more of a bright orange. And for something like that, I don't bother, you know, sending it back or anything. Okay. So now this one, you want to put it straight on the bottom line. Then you want to give it a little room to fold. But you don't want to give it so much room that it's going to be floppy. Definitely want it to be the thickness of this over, because otherwise they'll hit each other. When you go to fold it, this will hit that and it won't fold. So that's about fine. And glue this one on. Measurements are upside down. I guess this one was a little bit off too, but it wasn't enough to trim. What in the world? Keep going off the edge. Off the edge. Want my second cup of coffee? Woke up at 11 p.m. last night. Looks like I glued an Oz hair in there. Oh, got him out. They come off my shirt because I give him hugs. Any dog owner would tell you the same. Unless they have one of those naked dogs. Or a naked cat. Poor things. Always look so cold. They probably are. This is our 2-inch spine. Best part of a Lapbook is you save on paper. I know it doesn't seem like it, but you do on the inside of the cover, if you do it right. And once you get doing this, you'll kind of get better at like eyeballing this. Sometimes I get them a little wide. I've occasionally gotten them too narrow. Getting them too wide is definitely better than getting them too narrow, because if you get them too narrow, then they won't close. Here's our other larger cover. And then making the rest of the cover, you know, folding it over and gluing it, is the same as making any other cover. It's just a heck of a lot longer. It takes a heck of a lot of glue. You still miter the corners, fold the paper in just a little bit to give it a little bit of an idea of what you're going to make it do. And we ended up with the seam on the front cover. Nice. Oh, the back cover. I'm sorry if you can see the top of my head, but I'm kind of trying to wiggle that around a little bit before it dries. Okay, so now we have another 1.5 inch spine. I'm doing this wrong, somebody tell me. Just start yelling. Even though you're going to see this 3 months. I can't stop recording. I can't just sit around and watch TV. But after this one, I'm going to have to not record because of new kits and stuff coming out. I do have my design team projects. Those are new every month. So it's just our big projects. Our 10 or 15 video projects. This one's going to be more than 10, I'm going to guess. If I'm to be honest. Now, if you make a mistake on the sizes of this, you're kind of in trouble. There's the only thing you could do, let's say you put a short one here by accident, would be to leave, well, you couldn't even do that. I was going to say you could make it into a trifold instead, but that wouldn't work because you've already gotten 2 spines on there. Well, wait a minute. Let me think about that for a minute. Let's not worry about mistakes. How about that? Let's think about that. We'll pay attention. I have a tendency to make mine loose instead of tight, which isn't necessarily a good thing. It's better to get it right than loose. Definitely don't like I said, you definitely don't want to get it too tight. Okay, now we're going to take and cut off this excess. Try to go out about 1 inch. Take into account you may cut crooked, which is going to be covered up with papers. It's okay. Now you can keep this because it will actually cover one of your 1.5s, won't it? Nah, not really. Yeah, not really. Okay. You guys ready? Let's take your edges, kind of do this. Trying not to hit the camera. Careful around your glue seams. Okay. Oh, let's trim the corners. I'm going to go in, give it a little bit of space there and go out. Probably not my best job. I know this is totally off camera. That's the angle I have to work with. And off camera once again. Okay. Now, the glue-a-thon. Okay. So I'm going to glue along here. I know that seemed weird, but there's a light around my camera. There's like a little ring light around my camera, and it just didn't look like it was on. So I tapped it once and it went off, so that meant it was on bright. Okay, and we're going to go up here. And then I go across. And give it some good glue. If you don't bend it first, it's nearly impossible to get it to bend and to stick. What is going on here? Because it'll really want to pop back out on you. And going off the end off camera. Continuing with the same gluing motion though. We're going to stand this puppy up, slide it towards you, and flip it over. And do one of these and hope for the best. Especially around your seams, it'll stay down pretty well. If you hear it crinkling, then it isn't quite all stuck. We're going to turn it over here in just a second anyway. If you have rotator cuff injuries, this is not the most fun thing to do. I'm just mentioning it for a friend. You'll see this is pretty much stuck. And you want to take your bone folder. You want to go across these creases, not with the dirty side. I don't know what I got on there, but it still transfers onto the paper. Don't use the pointy end. Don't use the pointy end. You'll poke your eye out. No, you'll possibly go through the paper. And this just kind of gets the paper, just like we did on the edges, to kind of give it an idea of where it's going to go. That kind of gives it an idea of where we're going to need it to bend. Okay. We get out the glue for the other side, which is actually a little bit bigger. This is our 1-inch side. And it should be about 1 1/4. Just because we didn't trim the top off. Seems a little crooked right there. I mean, you don't need glue oozing out from under the paper everywhere, but you do want it to securely hold the paper. Oops. So, my Alex, got one of those 10-inch ones, the new ones, with the base that's top turns, follows you. Except it's a real stinker to set up. The rotating, how far, left and right. I ended up turning mine off because the way my craft room is, I didn't need it to follow me so I could see the screen, you know, wherever I was at. I can actually see the screen wherever I'm at. You hear that crackling noise? And then I forgot to go over it with bone folder. My it's working out well. Now, when I go to flip this up, I'm not going to be able to do it on camera because I don't want to hit the camera with the cover as I'm flipping it over, flip-flopping it over. So, I'll have to do it to the side. And I probably could just hold it over. Never tried it. Oh, there's not enough glue coming out. That's why. They can do that first. And it's just not the same. Putting it over my shoulder. It worked out. Just be careful if you're wearing a thumb ring that you don't dig in. Oh, that's our hour. So go ahead and do the other end the same. And then when we come back, we'll do the insides of the spine and move on from there. Okay? Alright, that's the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next video, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.